Hey, what is up, everybody? Michael Crump back here again, talking about the latest and the greatest in PlayStation 4, homebrew news, and much, much more. Today, I want to talk about this package that came out by Chameleon, and it is simply called PKG-BackUP. And what this is that this is a modded version of the app dumper payload to back up package files to the external hard disk drive. So it says in here in the changelog that it has the ability to automate and copy base, update, and DLC based content from already installed apps and games to an external hard disk drive. There has been a added configuration file that allows you to set up some additional parameters. So we can go over here to the releases that there is a configuration file, which we will use in just a moment, as well as there is a bin file here. Now, the bin file is if you want to run the payload on your PlayStation 4 using something such as Payload Guest. What we'll do in this example is we'll just load this payload over a website. So let's go ahead and let's hop over to the PlayStation 4 and let's take a look at an example of a game as well as trying out PKG-BackUP version 1.1. Okay, so over on my PlayStation 4, I have installed this game right here, and it is just simply called Beat Saber. And so let's go ahead now and let's go into the options here and let's go to information. And there is a couple of things to note while we're in here. So I have not only installed the base game, but I have installed an update. And in this instance, it is just simply version 1.51. And then I've installed a couple of pieces of downloadable content for it. We can take a look at those by looking at where it says installed add-ons. And there we go. You can see that I have 6 different pieces of downloadable content that I have added to this game. So just as a quick recap, I have a base game of Beat Saber, I've installed a patch, and then I've installed some downloadable content for it. And so the scenario could be something like this. So I've installed this content and maybe I lost the original package files that maybe I downloaded or created at some other time. I would like to be able to go in and create a brand new package file of this application as well as the patch and the downloadable content. Now, remember that configuration file that we just looked at just a moment ago? Well, inside of that configuration file, there is an ability to only export the application by its title ID or the game by its title ID. So there are a couple of different ways to get the title ID for an application or game. One of those is by using Orbis Toolbox. But in my instance, I find it just to be a little bit easier to use something like PS4 Explorer, and I'll just show you how. So let's go ahead and let's go into PS4 Explorer. I'm in the root, and then I'm going to scroll down to where it says user, and then I'm going to go to patch. Once I go into patch here, you can see there is a title ID. Now, I don't have any other games at the moment installed on this PlayStation 4, so it's very easy for me to figure out that this is going to be the title ID that matches Beat Saber. But there is another way. So let's go ahead and let's go back up to just where it says app, and we're going to go into the other CUSA, which is just simply 12878. Now I can press X on the app.json, and if I do that, then I can see right here that this is definitely for Beat Saber. So again, this is just one method on how you can figure out what the title ID is for your game or application. Or again, you could use Orbis Toolbox if you wanted to find out what that title ID is. As you'll see here in just a moment, the configuration file does allow you to dump every app or game that's currently on your PlayStation system, but I don't really recommend that. I find it's best just to go ahead and extract one at a time. Okay, so let's switch over to the PC and take a look at that configuration file. Okay, so back over on your computer, go ahead and open up Notepad and paste the contents that you see here on the screen into your config.cfg file. Again, there is a link in the description to a template that you can just copy and paste. And so it states right here that if you want to copy a specific file after the payload launched, use the example where the 12345, it's the ID number of a CUSA. So in our example, ours was 12878. So I'm going to go down to where it says CUSA equals, and I'm going to remove the 0, and I'm just going to go ahead and type in 12878. Now, the next configuration is to define the method that you want to copy. So we want to copy method 3, which is going to include the game base, the update, as well as the DLC. So thankfully, this is already on by default, but if you only want to copy a game base or the update or the DLC only, well, then you just would put in the number that's defined in the comments above. Once we have all of this in place, go ahead and plug in your USB drive and head up to File and then go down to Save. And we are going to go to our D drive here. And that is my USB drive, and the file name is just going to simply be config.cfg, and I'm going to press the save button. And again, it is very important that you put this just in the root of your USB drive. Okay, so back over on our PlayStation 4, the very first thing that we're going to need to do is to go into settings and then go in and make sure that there is a check mark right here on enable bin loader server. Now let's head over to the internet and let's type in this site, which is kmeps4.site. It will take just a second to cache. Then we're going to go to the auto method here. And one thing to note before we run the payload here is that, again, this is an example of running the payload that's already on a website. If you wanted to go back to that GitHub and maybe use something like payload guest, you could run that payload on your local machine without having a need for internet access. Okay, with that being said, let's just go ahead and run PKG-BackUP 1.1. And so there we go. We get our first dialog box. And it found the configuration file, and so now it is applying the configuration settings. Now it is beginning with the Beat Saber base game to USB 0. So it says backing up the base package. Okay, and now it is backing up the update.package. And the update for this game was fairly large. Actually, I think it was right around 2 gigabytes. So it may take just a moment or two for that to finish up, but it does give you an indication that it is making progress every 20%. And then finally here, it's backing up the DLC for the game. So let's just go and verify that in PS4 Explorer. We're going to go to Mount and then USB 0. And the way the naming convention goes is that it is simply the title ID and then a -app, a -patch, or a -DLC. And we can see that for Beat Saber, which is 12878, we do have an app, patch, and a DLC folder. So let's just go ahead and go into maybe one of these. Let's go into the app. There is the app.package. We'll go into the DLC and we can see the DLC has been added. And then we obviously have the patch, but we won't go into that one. Let's go ahead and remove Beat Saber from our hard disk drive. So I'm just going to delete the game here. And I'll go back and let's try to reinstall the game completely from the backup that we just made. So we'll start with the app folder. So app.package, we are going to press the X button here to install it. Give it a second here to complete. Okay, it says ready to use, so it has been installed. And we can go down, we can see information, and we can see it is at 1.00. Back into PS4 Explorer, we're going to do the patch now. And so we are going to press X to install the patch. Again, this patch is for the version 1.51. So let's go to notifications. And there we can see it is now installing the patch. And we will verify by going to Beat Saber and going down to information. And there is 1.51. And then finally, we're going to install maybe a couple of the DLCs. So we'll install this one right here and press X. And let's just grab maybe one more. We don't have to do them all because that may take a bunch of extra time. And we'll press X here. And now once that installs, we'll go back to Beat Saber. And we should see that that DLC is available for the game. So back down to information here. And there are installed add-ons. And let's go view. And there they are. There is the 2 pieces of downloadable content. So with just this kind of early version, I am very much impressed with it. Looks like this is going to be an absolutely great way to make backups of content that you already have on your PlayStation 4 hard disk drive. So again, thank you so very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Michael, out!